In this entire world, whenever we search for any haunted place, one location immediately comes to our mind. I'm not talking about Bongar Fort. I'm talking about The Conjuring House. The Conjuring is a movie that keeps you excited and on the edge of your seat from beginning to end. It puts you in constant suspense. But the most shocking thing appears at the end of the movie, based on a true story. That means this entire story is inspired by real events. And guys, this story is so terrifying that no one would be able to watch it alone at midnight. If someone actually can, then literally, it's a challenge. When I started researching it further, I discovered that in the Conjuring universe, many things are shown, like the Annabelle doll, the nun, and many other cases. But when I researched deeper, I found that most of those things had no direct connection with the events of The Conjuring Part 1. And guys, the truth is, what was shown in the movie is not the whole story. There were many more terrifying events that were never revealed to the public. People believed that if these details were shown in the film, it might scare audiences even more. But in this video, I want to tell you those hidden parts of the story. How the Perron family actually lived in that house for many years. It wasn't like the movie, where they stayed only for a short time and then left. They lived there for a long time. They knew what was happening inside that house. Their struggles, their fear, everything they experienced, today I will try to present it in this video. This story begins in 1971 in Rhode Island, United States of America. There was a farmhouse where Roger and Carolyn Perron moved in. They didn't come alone. They came with their 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. It was a complete family, and they wanted to live a happy and peaceful life together. They were cheerful people and had no problems in life. Roger believed that if they wanted to live happily together, they should buy a bigger house where the whole family could stay comfortably. And that's exactly what they did. They bought that farmhouse. In the very first evening after moving in, Roger was standing near the gate when he met a man, the former owner of the house. The man said, "I hope you like this house. Everything here is good, but I want to tell you one thing. Never turn off the lights before going to sleep." Roger replied, "What kind of nonsense is that? How can anyone sleep if the lights are on?" The man said, "I don't know the real reason, but if you turn the lights off, you may never be able to sleep again." Roger found this strange and ignored it, assuming the man was joking or drunk. That night, everyone went to their rooms, turned off the lights, and went to sleep. Everything seemed completely normal. The next morning, the whole family gathered at the dining table. Their eldest daughter, Andrea, said something strange. She said, "I don't know what happened last night. When I turned off the lights and was lying in bed, someone came into my room. My blanket had slipped off and someone covered me properly and tucked me in. But Mom and Dad, it wasn't either of you." Everyone at the table was shocked. Then all the other daughters said the exact same thing had happened to them. Someone had come into their rooms at night and tucked them into bed. Roger thought it was just their imagination. After all, the house doors were always locked. No one could enter without knocking. Roger worked as a truck driver, so he was usually away from home and only returned on weekends. But after this continued for almost a year, Carolyn, the mother, started feeling something was wrong. Andrea became convinced that a spirit lived in the house, a spirit that appeared only at night. In the second year, things became much worse. Whatever presence was in the house stopped being friendly, and now its main target seemed to be Carolyn. Carolyn started experiencing strange things. At night, her bed would shake violently. Sometimes something would try to pull her blanket away. When she tried to tell Roger, he ignored it because he was always exhausted after long hours of driving. One morning, Carolyn woke up and noticed strange marks on her neck and arms. It felt as if someone had been stabbing her body with needles while she was asleep. When she went to tell Roger about it, she saw something terrifying. Behind the door stood a shadow, silently signaling her to stay quiet. Carolyn became terrified. Every morning she woke up with new wounds, but when she tried to tell her children, they said, "No, whatever is in this house is good. It used to tuck us into bed. It never hurts us." This made Carolyn feel even more alone. Dramatically, one day while Carolyn was working in the kitchen, she smelled something horrible, like rotting meat. The smell was getting stronger. She searched everywhere, but couldn't find the source. Eventually, she realized the smell was coming from upstairs, from her daughter's room. Inside the room, there was a large cardboard box. The smell was coming from inside it. When Carolyn opened the box, she found her youngest daughter, April, trapped inside. April cried and said, "A woman locked me in here while we were playing hide and seek." Carolyn asked, "Which woman?" April pointed behind her and said, "She's standing behind you." When Carolyn turned around, she saw a woman dressed in white standing right behind her. The woman rushed towards Carolyn and forced her negative energy into Carolyn's body. From that moment, the house became completely chaotic. Carolyn became possessed. She began destroying things around the house. Carolyn claimed that the spirit inside her was the spirit of the house's former owner, Bathsheba Sherman. She said she could see many other spirits as well, some without heads, some without hands, all trying to kill her. Eventually, Roger realized something was seriously wrong, so he contacted the famous paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. If you've seen the Conjuring movies, you already know them. When Lorraine Warren entered the house for the first time, she immediately stepped back. She sensed that many spirits were present there. But because Carolyn was a mother, and Lorraine herself was also a mother, she felt compelled to help. So Ed and Lorraine accepted the case. They decided to perform a séance, a ritual used to communicate with spirits. They took Carolyn to the basement and began asking questions. But the spirit was extremely powerful. At one point, Carolyn, along with the chair she was sitting on, lifted into the air. The witnesses included Roger, Ed, Lorraine, and the eldest daughter, Andrea. Lights started flickering. Objects started falling. Lorraine realized that this would not be an easy case. Ed wanted to perform an exorcism, but Roger refused. He said he could not watch his wife suffer through such a ritual. Eventually, the Warrens slowly stopped getting involved and left the case unfinished. The Perron family had no money to move elsewhere, so they stayed in that house for almost 10 years. Every day was the same. Every night brought new fear. Every morning brought new wounds. But finally, after years of suffering, they left the house. However, even after leaving, Carolyn's health never fully improved. Then, in 2022, the Conjuring house was purchased by a new owner. The new owner claimed that the Perron family's story might have been psychological, but he admitted one thing: he often felt as if someone else was present in the house. No one knows what truly happened there. No one knows if the Perron family still experienced those spirits. But one thing is certain: this is considered one of the most terrifying real stories in the world. At the end of this video, I just want to say one thing. Sometimes spirits attach themselves to places, sometimes to people. And once they attach themselves to you, they may never leave you. Maybe that's what happened with the Perron family. Maybe the spirits of that house found a host inside Carolyn. There's no proof of this. These are stories passed through time. But one thing is clear: this story is truly terrifying. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more mysterious and real horror stories, and tell me in the comments, have you ever experienced something paranormal? Because sometimes the scariest stories are the real ones.